Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight. This is going to be a midweek check-in for the first day of May, moving in toward the weekend. See what kind of energies we have coming in, what kind of lessons we may have. What messages would Spirit like to share with us as we go into the weekend, the second half of the week here? We have from the archetype deck Mantegna Tarot, the Wretch, Misery, card number 1. And from the Starseed Oracle, well, I guess those are jumping. We have Big Picture Thinking and the Great Severing. Oh, interesting. And then this deck is the Moon and Stars Tarot. Now, all my cards were shuffled prior to recording, but I like to make some noise on camera anyway. I just like for you to see the cards come out. There we go. Page of Wands. Do we want to take another? Let's see if there's something else that's going to jump out. Okay, we got a couple more cards. So we have Death and the Page of Pentacles. Okay. Make sure that you can see these. Page of Wands, Death, and the Page of Pentacles. How's that? Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles. Hot, fiery opportunities. New passions, enthusiasm for new endeavors. And the Page of Pentacles, new prospects, new opportunities, new markers of stability after death and releasing. Misery, Big Picture Thinking, and the Great Severing. This is invention, and this is inspired ideas. Conflict, softening to love. The Great Severing. Interesting. Card number 1 here from the archetype deck, the Mantegna Tarot, is the archetype for dignity. Remain dignified even in adversity. Well, does that imply some challenges may be arising? Markers of endings here. The Great Severing and Death, the release. Death is a transformation card. The end of something so that something new can begin. And remain dignified even in adversity. It's just flip-floppy energy here. Action and consequence. It's looking like even when conflicts arise, we are being challenged to let things go. Just cut ties. See the transformation of things ending so that new things can begin. These might be relationships with individuals. They may be relationships with an employer or a work team or a school or a community group of some sort. We're being asked to recognize when it is time to let go. That's what we'll be seeing for the end of the week. Right, for the second half of the week here with this midweek check-in. Big picture thinking, invention, and prospects. Don't let the little nagging details hold you back from big picture, your big goals. the things you want to achieve. So perhaps you wake up one day and you find that there are some challenges, some setbacks, but they're just minor details, like your car won't start, or you've overslept. But don't let those little things, those little finer details, hold you back from the big picture of accomplishing your goals, of pursuing your agenda towards your visionary, inspired ideas, toward invention and new prospects. Do I need to read any of these cards aloud? Page of Pentacles, a grounded, blossoming message, offer into new prospects. Page of Wands, invention. It could even be reinvention, pursuing your passions, enthusiasm toward your endeavors. Maybe I'll read these two. Big picture thinking and the great severing. Big picture thinking, the Pleiadians are our cosmic cousins. They're here to remind us that it's never too late to learn new things and change the future. Yes, change the future. A big message or lesson that has been coming through for me, perhaps for many of you, is that notion that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. So we're being asked, we have been in the past here, in the recent past, we have been asked to reassess the path that we're taking, reassess that notion that if you keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same results. So where are you being challenged to do something different for yourself so you get a different result? Where are you being challenged to branch off from your typical patterns and pathways so that you can encounter a new result, so that you can achieve a new goal, so that you can do something differently, so that you can yield a different result? You're being called to be a visionary for the planet, to take a breath, shake off what you've been taught about the world, and hold a new vision for humanity. You're likely a natural big picture thinker, here to generate ideas for the future, here to birth a new age and dream a new world into being. The future will be woven by dream makers like you, by those with enough courage to question the way things have been and envision new possibilities for the planet. The world needs more artists, dreamers, inventors, and visionary thinkers. Perhaps you've had an idea recently that you're being called to usher in. If so, this card is your confirmation that it's divinely guided. The Pleiadians support us in this important stage of Earth's development. They want us to know that the decisions we make today will affect the well-being of our planet and all its species. They're calling on you to be a leader of the future, to hold a clear vision of what's possible, to trust that vision and follow it through with daily action, to dream a new world into being, to hold your mind open and try not to worry about what others think. For it takes great courage to pave a new path, to trust a vision before it's a reality. For those that might stand in the way, the others, when this mentions to hold your mind open and try not to worry about what others think, this card, the Severing, along with Death, Release, is suggesting that we let go of those people or situations that might hold us back, that might challenge our enthusiasm to drive forward. Don't let them sway you off your path. The Starseed Soul Inquiry for this card says, how are you being called to step up and lead? What new ideas or creations are you being called to pursue? Now is the time to pursue them. That's the point. Now is the time to pursue those dreams. I think that you may be asked to embody the energy of the Page of Wands as well as the Page of Pentacles. You bring in these messages of enthusiasm. You bring in this stability by following through, by standing behind your convictions. Okay, the Great Severing. This is a shadow card, one that may feel confrontational. Don't be afraid. It's here to bring to the surface anything that's standing in the way of letting love in. The warring planet of Mars is our constant reminder that it's important to soften, forgive, and find our way back to love. And it starts with self. There are many things in the human experience that make it difficult for our heart and soul to stay open to the never-ending source of love. We are all wounded, and our unconscious wounds inflict wounds on others. It can feel like a never-ending dance we can never escape. If we aren't careful, before long, we'll see the world as a scary, dangerous place where fear and anxiety roam free. If this card surfaces, it could be for two reasons. Firstly, for you to acknowledge the difficult emotions, situations, conflicts, wounds, and fears that are causing you pain and anxiety, and also I would suggest blocking your path. And secondly, for you to find your way back to love. When we're hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation in earthly life. Soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others and the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children spinning our way around the world. Find your way to see the innocence in all people, especially yourself. This card is turning back to this one, to see the big picture, to be part of the big picture. Don't let those wounds of the past hold you back from that big picture. The Starseed Soul Inquiry for this card asks, how are you cutting yourself off from love? How can you soften toward those who have hurt you? So, in fact, the severing isn't just cutting relationships or cutting ties. It's actually asking you to cut out the negative feelings, to cut out the wounds. So, to cut out the negative feelings, you offer forgiveness to those who have hurt you in the past. And that does not necessarily mean that you have to go face to face, that you have to confront them, that you have to speak anything directly to them. The forgiveness happens within, and that's really where it's most important. And or if you need to ask for forgiveness, you can ask that of yourself. The Ho'oponopono prayer, if you look it up, I've posted it a few times. It's just a wonderful prayer to seek healing and forgiveness for yourself, for others, and the planet. And it's pretty deep for some reason. I don't know. It's just there's something about the vibration of the prayer that really seems to touch on the deeper wounds that we share among those with whom we encounter in life, just as a way of being, existing through life and interacting with others. It's something that just happens, that we hurt others, not intentionally. It's just something that happens in life. And the Ho'oponopono prayer is a great way to release those pains, those wounds, and get forgiveness for yourself, and to offer forgiveness to others, and to feel it deeply without necessarily having to approach an individual or an entity like an employer to process through that healing process. So that's one way, is to, the severing is asking you to heal and to forgive the wounds, and the other way is where you're cutting off individuals or entities from participating in your life because they continue to wound and harm you with negative or toxic behavior or energy. When we're hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation in earthly life. Soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others and the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children spinning our way around the world. Find a way to see the innocence in all people, especially yourself. So another way that we sever is to sort of quarantine ourselves off and away from a world that can be painful and hurtful. There's this seclusion, a way to encapsulate yourself in the protection bubble so that we don't find ourselves in positions where we're going to get hurt by others. But if we enclose ourselves so deeply and withdraw into a shelter where we are not actually going out into the world and engaging with the world, well, we're not really experiencing life to the fullest at that point, are we? There's a point where you end up hurting yourself by withdrawing too much. So if you're sensitive and you have to protect yourself, there's a need to find balance between the sensitivity and the outside world. To say you have to build a tougher skin is certainly easier said than done, but it takes a lot of self-healing to learn what kinds of things are on you and things that for which you need to take responsibility, and what kinds of things are the issues of others. So sometimes when people lash out or they hurt others with their words or their actions, it really has everything to do with how they feel about themselves and their place in the world, and nothing to do with you, the person that might be the recipient of such energies. And that's how you build your strength. You have to remember that you do the work for yourself, and that you take on and take responsibility for your own behavior and actions. But anything anybody else can say that seems hurtful, it's really not your problem. It's their way of interacting with the world. And we can't really change how other people interact with others or interact with the world. We can only change how we respond. So when you find security in yourself, you're not as susceptible to the energies and output of others. And that is a way of protection that allows you to continue moving around in the world, participating in the world, while being protected within yourself. But it is different from the withdrawing into your home and not interacting with the world. So there is a balance here. There is a balance, and we do need to find that balance, because it's really not going to serve us to completely withdraw from the world and not interact with them. Then we neither share the pains and grievances of life, nor do we share the love and the joy of life. So there is a balance that needs to be struck. This is to say, we learn where to take responsibility for ourselves and our feelings and how we respond to the world around us. But we also need to remember to step outside of the comfort zone of home and engage with others with an open heart, so that we can still continue to foster good experiences and good relationships with others. The Starseed Soul Inquiry for this card asks, how are you cutting yourself off from love? How can you soften towards those who have hurt you? Again, forgiveness is a good way to soften towards those who have hurt you. Forgiveness for their actions, their reactions, and the way that they have treated you. Because ideally, you would know that the way that others have hurt you is their own energy and how they move through the world, and it is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of how they see themselves in the world. So if you feel secure in yourself, you should be able to offer forgiveness and trust in yourself and the way that you move through the world and the way that you respond. Not one of us is perfect. Every now and then, for those that have worked on themselves, so that they are not quick to react, but rather to respond, occasionally we slip up and we have to examine the reasons why we have a reaction instead of a response, and then go back and sort of train ourselves to have a better response instead of a reaction. So we are being asked here to put an end to triggers, put an end to reactive energy, and transform ourselves with healing and forgiveness. Transform ourselves into a being who is able to move through the world, keeping the big picture in mind, reaching for the stars, reaching for your goals, and really finding a way to remain dignified within yourself. And that is the message for the midweek check-in. Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight. I hope there's something in here that serves you.